Good day, this is the Professopher, CBMD PhD, and today's Friday, February 3rd, 2023. It is 10:29 and 57 seconds, AM Eastern Standard Time, and today's research, brain and obesity. So let's hop to it here. As sugar is processed differently in the brains of obesity-prone versus obesity-resistant rats, molecular insights point to neuronal underpinnings of obesity. Date February 2nd, 2023. Source, University of Michigan. A new study tracked what happens in the brains of rats in real time in the brain when presented with glucose, a type of sugar, labeled with a tracer. The tracer allowed the researchers to measure this new sugar in the brain. And to understand what drives people to overeat, scientists are looking more closely at the brain structure involved in motivation, called the nucleus accumbens. And this small region drives reward-seeking behaviors, underlying the pursuit of sex recreational drugs like nicotine and alcohol and food. As these brain motivation centers evolve to help us survive, finding food and having sex are essential to the survival of an individual and of a species. What was advantageous when food was hard to find has become a disadvantage and unhealthy in the current food-dense environment. And this is compounded by the overall abundance of over-processed, low-nutrition foods that may satisfy our taste but leave our bodies unnourished. As people don't find it difficult to turn down an extra serving of broccoli with just one more French fry or making room for a bit of chocolate dessert. That is a different story. The real challenge is overcoming these urges and changing our behavior when it comes to food. Researchers are using rat models to understand potential brain differences between animals who are prone to overeating and obesity and those who are not. The researchers track what is happening in real time in the brain when these animals were presented with glucose, a type of sugar, labeled with a tracer. The tracer allowed the researchers to measure the new sugar in the brain. As sugar is in the brain's main fuel source, at once there, the molecule is broken down and used to create new molecules, such as glutamate, and GABA, each with an important role in influencing the activation of neurons in the brain and nervous system. The glucose that is consumed gets broken down, and then its carbons get incorporated into neurotransmitters. We see those labeled carbons showing up in those molecules, glutamate, glutamine, and GABA, over time. The research scientists found that glucose was taking longer to get into the nucleus accumbens of obesity-prone animals. And furthermore, when measuring the concentration of the glutamate, and GABA, they discovered excess levels of glutamate, an excitatory neurotransmitter. As the researchers say, implied a defect in the neurotransmitter recycling process, typically maintained in the nervous system by star-shaped cells called astrocytes. Normally, astrocytes will pull glutamate out of the space between neurons, called the synapse, convert it into glutamate, and then shuttle it back to cells that produce GABA or glutamate. And this sequence is crucial for turning neurons off and on. The findings suggest that we are getting too much glutamate, and it is not being taken out of the synapse. The balance between glutamate and GABA, the main inhibitory transmitter, is really important for brain function and will influence activity of the neurons in the nucleus accumbens. The research scientists say this balance and therefore brain activity is different in obesity-prone versus obesity-resistant rats. The fact that these rats are either prone to obesity or not is important for disentangling cause and effect. It allows us to remove diet as one of the variables. The team hopes to next study the role in inflammation in the development of obesity and how differences in brain function contribute to susceptibility and resistance to obesity. And this is the Professor of Microbiology, Bioinformatics, and Pathophysiology. This video was created for educational purposes only. Hope you enjoyed listening. Until next time, have a great day.